Hello everyone, I'm Tracy and thank you for tuning in today. So I have a piece of information that I think is very, very important that everyone knows regarding this tragedy. It's something I've announced before, but it's been a while since I've touched on this subject. And at the end of this video, I have a really exciting announcement. I've been waiting for some time to let you all know. So I'll mention that at the end. But the really important piece of information I want everyone to know is that Hurricane Dora was not responsible for the winds that were going on in Lahaina during the fire. And I wanted to reiterate this. I brought this up in a very old video, but I wanted to bring it up again because I was watching an interview that Michelle from Inner Blossom Wellness was doing with Elle Cochran, and Elle is a state representative for West Maui, and she was talking about a bill that was being voted on in Honolulu that stated that Hurricane Dora was responsible for this fire. And I have brought this information up before that the hurricane could not have been affecting the Hawaiian Islands on the 8th of August or really any day. And we have a meteorologist supporting this. So I'll play that right now.
Now we want to bring in Chief Meteorologist Mark Fine. And Mark, what are the winds like right now in Maui? Because we know the winds were a big problem for fueling this fire early on.
Well, yeah, but it's a typical trade winds that they have. Here are the winds that we have right now. And here's Maui, and here's the airport that you land on when you go into Hawaii. And they have a northeasterly wind of 25. Keep in mind that all the damage that you've been seeing is from Lahaina, which is right here. And then on that side of the island, that's the dry side of the island. So between the airport and Lahaina, there's a mountain. And so then when you get the winds coming down that mountain, it's a very dry north wind. It's kind of like when we get our downslope winds on the west slope of the Sierra sometimes. So that's why you have not only very low humidity here, but also very gusty winds. And so once a fire starts, it can spread very quickly. But yeah, these are typical trade winds from the east and to the northeast. Now, there's been a lot of attribution given to the Hurricane Dora, but I really don't think that this hurricane has had anything to do with the winds here. Here's where the storm is now. It's a powerful hurricane. It's a Category 4 hurricane, but here are where the islands are. And yeah, right now the storm is moving away, and the closest this storm got was 600 miles. So I really don't think this played much in the way of a role at all in the winds, but they have had classic trade winds, and they'll continue with winds like that.
The reason that I think this is so important is that now that this fallacy is being introduced to legislation and it's been written into law, I'm just really worried that this is going to be the narrative that is believed by people going forward. And I do believe a lot of people think that those winds that were experienced in Lahaina during the fire were from the hurricane. But as you saw in that presentation, it was not. There are other pieces of information that support that Hurricane Dora was not causing these winds. And that is from eyewitness accounts from people that were in different areas such as Kihei and Ka'anapali. Ka'anapali is just slightly west of Lahaina. And I'll link a video that Eric did going over all the details of the winds that day. And the area he lives in is Ka'anapali, and he said the winds were up to 30 to 40 miles an hour max.
Now the prevailing wind that day was flowing from the mountains towards the ocean. So towards the ocean was the predominant wind, anywhere from 35 to, they say, gusts of 80 miles an hour. My opinion, it was more in the 30s and 40s that day.
And in Lahaina, it was measured to be 80 plus miles per hour winds. And that was heard from General Hara, all the top officials. And I'm not saying that there weren't very strong winds in Lahaina. There certainly were. And I have a lot of video of that and a lot of evidence. But it was certainly not because of the hurricane. And it's very suspicious that they're using the hurricane, which was over 500 miles away from the Hawaiian Islands. They're using that as the reason for these winds. So the question comes up, like, why did they feel like they had to do that? You know, they had to, I guess, explain it somehow, but they used a reason that has no proof. And I will link a previous video I did where you hear these officials coming out and saying that they were 80-mile-an-hour winds, and that's why aircraft weren't able to take off. I did find out that was not true, that there were multiple choppers in the sky at that time. So I do think there is more to the winds that were experienced that day, but the main thing I want to reiterate is that they were not from the hurricane. And I can't explain exactly what it was if it wasn't the hurricane, but it just really kind of took me aback when I heard that legislation is now using that as the reason. Because if you think about it, if it's the hurricane's fault, then no person or no organization is at fault, right? You could say, well, it's the hurricane's fault. Then no one has to take responsibility. And I think that's what they're hoping happens. But, you know, if you've been following my channel, there are a lot of individuals and groups that I feel are responsible for what happened in Lahaina that day. So now I'm going to tell you guys about a project I've been working on for a little over a month. I am co-authoring a book with two other women. One is Michelle from Inner Blossom Wellness, and then the other co-author who's also publishing it is Stephanie, who wrote the first book, Burn Back Better, about the incident that I've been covering. So it's almost done. My part is almost done. I think I have one more chapter, and then we're gonna get it all edited and available. So I was really excited to be able to share that with you guys. I've been meaning to for some time, but I will keep you all posted when it becomes available. So I'm assuming it'll be in May, probably towards the end of May. I'm not sure, but that book is going to have a lot of information that not only have I covered and Michelle has covered, but other things that we have found through the investigation that we've all been doing. Just a lot of information more recently has surfaced, and everything that we discuss in this book is sourced with reliable sources. So this isn't a opinion piece. It's a research piece that is very encompassing of not just this event, but the surrounding problems that are going on in the world today. And so I've said it before, Lahaina is not it's not an isolated event. It is part of a bigger story. And so that's what I'm hoping this book will be able to convey. The name is The Great Maui Land Grab. So a lot of it is going to be about how things are playing out more recently, about the government trying to claim the land as their own, and all the roadblocks that are being put in the way, and a lot of these little stories here and there that I feel need to be exposed, because if it's not exposed, then the people that are getting away with this disaster capitalism or crisis capitalism, they're just going to continue. I mean, they're already continuing, but you know, someone has to say something and someone has to put their foot down. And there's also information about how everyone can get involved and do something so that these incidences don't continue to happen throughout the world. So I'm really excited for you guys to read the book. And that is going to do it for today. I have a lot of other videos that are in queue, but I've been kind of tied down with the book, so it's been a little bit harder to get content out the way I used to. But I do have a lot of new updates that I want to share, and so I'm hoping after this last chapter I'm going to put in, I'll be able to go back to my regular schedule for filming and releasing content here. So that is going to do it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.